Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. This audio uses AI narration to present our original book analysis. Today, we're diving into Richard Dawkins' The Magic of Reality. It's kind of like this journey to uncover the universe's coolest secrets, all backed by science, of course. It's like trading in ancient myths for a detective's toolkit. We're using evidence and logic to uncover the wonders of the natural world.
Dawkins presents science as a thrilling adventure. I think that's a pretty refreshing way to look at it, He starts by asking a seemingly simple question. How do we even know things exist? I mean, we rely on our senses, sure, but what about things we can't directly see or touch?
Like black holes. We can't see them directly, but we know they exist because of their effects on surrounding matter. It really makes you realize that reality is so much more than what we could perceive with just our limited senses.
Exactly. Dawkins highlights how scientific instruments like telescopes and microscopes extend our senses, allowing us to see things that are too far away or too small for the naked eye. He also digs into the different meanings of the word magic, distinguishing between the supernatural stage magic and what he calls poetic magic.
That's what we're focusing on here, right? The awe and wonder we experience when we grasp the true scientific explanations behind natural phenomena.
Precisely. And one of the first big examples Dawkins uses is evolution. He tackles those common misconceptions about human origins. Take that Tasmanian Aboriginal myth he debunks about humans being molded from clay. He contrasts it with the scientific narrative, supported by evidence like fossils and DNA analysis.
It's like that aha moment, when something complex suddenly clicks and you just realize the elegance and beauty of how the universe works. I love that analogy he uses to illustrate how evolution works. A shelf of ancestors, where each generation is slightly different from the one before it. It really helps to visualize how these gradual changes over millions of years can lead to the incredible diversity of life we see today.
He even tackles the tricky question of the first human, arguing that pinpointing that moment is like asking when a baby becomes a toddler. It's a gradual process with no clear dividing line.
So we've established that reality is what we can observe and verify through our senses, often with the help of scientific instruments. And we're looking for the poetic magic in those real explanations. The book then dives into another fundamental question. What is stuff made of?
Dawkins uses a simple thought experiment. Imagine repeatedly cutting a piece of lead in half. Eventually, you get to a point where you can't cut it any further without it no longer being lead. That's the level of the atom, the building block of everything around us. But Dawkins doesn't stop there. He goes deeper into the structure of atoms themselves.
He dives into the Rutherford Bohr model of the atom, where tiny electrons orbit an even tinier nucleus. And here comes one of those mind-blowing facts. I still can't get over this. If the nucleus were the size of a football, the electrons would be like gnats, several kilometers away. So even solid objects, like the chair I'm sitting on, are mostly empty space.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
It really highlights the strangeness and wonder of the quantum world, and it all comes back to understanding the true nature of reality, even when it defies our everyday intuition.
Speaking of defying intuition, the book then shifts gears to talk about the sun, our life-giving star. He presents this fascinating perspective of the sun as a kind of engine. It's the ultimate source of energy for most life on Earth. He traces the flow of energy from the sun to plants through photosynthesis, then to animals that eat those plants, and even to machines like water wheels powered by rivers, which are ultimately fed by rain, which is driven by solar energy.
So even something as simple as a water wheel is indirectly powered by the sun. That's incredible.
It really illustrates the interconnectedness of everything in our world, and it leads to that tantalizing question. If life on Earth depends on the sun, could there be life on other planets orbiting stars?
A question for another chapter, but I'm definitely hooked.
Speaking of captivating phenomena, Dawkins then explores rainbows. They've inspired countless myths and legends, but he contrasts those with the scientific understanding.
It all goes back to Isaac Newton, right? He figured out that white light is a mixture of all the colors of the rainbow, and he demonstrated it by passing sunlight through a prism. So when sunlight hits raindrops at a specific angle, it gets refracted and separated into its component colors, creating that magical arc.
Exactly, nature's own light show.
Okay, so far we've explored the magic of reality through evolution, the structure of matter, the sun's power, and the beauty of rainbows.
And we're just getting started. Dawkins continues his exploration, tackling everything from the search for extraterrestrial life to the science of earthquakes. Stay tuned for more.
Last time we were talking about atoms and even the possibility of life on other planets. I'm really curious to hear how Dawkins explores that idea of extraterrestrial life.
Well, he doesn't just like speculate wildly or anything. He grounds the discussion in, what we know about life on Earth
Hmm.
and how evolution works. He asks this great question, what might aliens look like? And he points out that evolution on other planets would be totally shaped by their specific environments.
So while it's fun to imagine little green men, aliens might look totally different from anything we've ever seen.
Exactly. He even suggests that we look at the diversity of life on Earth as a starting point. Like the basic building blocks of life, carbon and water, are probably found on other planets. But the way those elements combine and the adaptations creatures develop, it could lead to some truly alien forms. He even speculates about their sensory system.
Oh, yeah. Could they see in different wavelengths? Maybe use sonar instead of vision in a foggy environment?
Yeah. It's all about considering the constraints and possibilities of evolution in different contexts.
It's a great exercise in expanding our thinking beyond our Earth-centric perspective, from the vastness of space. Dawkins brings us back down to Earth to explore earthquakes. You know those powerful tremors that have shaped our planet for millions of years? I remember reading about how he contrasts ancient beliefs about earthquakes with our modern scientific understanding.
Oh, yeah. He mentions Hippocrates, who believed earthquakes caused disease. But today we understand these events through plate tectonics. The Earth's crust is made up of these massive moving plates.
And those plates slowly shift and collide, creating immense pressure that's released in the form of earthquakes. It's mind-blowing to think about these massive forces constantly at work beneath our feet.
He actually compares the speed of these movements to, the speed with which fingernails grow. It's a striking image, how something seemingly insignificant is a reflection of these powerful geological forces.
It really does highlight the interconnectedness of everything. But those changes aren't always gentle, are they? I'm thinking about the devastating earthquakes and tsunamis we've seen, especially around the Pacific Ocean's Ring of Fire.
Right. Dawkins reminds us of those destructive forces, like the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami in Japan. It's a stark reminder of the power of nature, from the immense power of earthquakes. The book takes a turn towards something a bit more philosophical, miracles and the supernatural. This is where I think Dawkins' skepticism really shines. He challenges the notion of supernatural events and encourages readers to approach unexplained phenomena with a scientific mindset.
He even quotes David Hume, who defined a miracle as a transgression of a law of nature.
Right, yeah. Dawkins argues that instead of resorting to supernatural explanations, we should view these events as puzzles to be solved by science.
It's about embracing the unknown as an opportunity for discovery. He uses the Cottingley fairies hoax, where two young girls faked photographs of fairies, to illustrate how easily people can be fooled. Even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, was convinced they were real.
It's a good reminder to be critical of evidence, no matter how compelling it might seem.
Absolutely. Now, towards the end of the book, Dawkins tackles the complex topic of illness and evolution. He describes our bodies as constantly battling parasites, from viruses and bacteria to larger organisms. He also talks about our amazing immune system that's evolved over millions of years to fight off these invaders.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think of our bodies as these intricate battlegrounds, where our cells are constantly defending against attack.
And that this battle is never truly over. Evolution is ongoing, and disease-causing agents are evolving too, constantly finding new ways to overcome our defenses. It makes you realize that even something as basic as our health is shaped by these evolutionary forces.
Yeah, he brings up the development of cancers, which are essentially our own cells growing out of control. It's a stark reminder of the power of evolution. But it also highlights the incredible resilience of our bodies and the ongoing efforts of science to understand and combat these diseases.
It's about facing reality head-on, armed with knowledge and critical thinking. And that's really the essence of the magic of reality, isn't it? We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but there's still more to explore in the final part.
We'll delve into Dawkins' thoughts on the nature of scientific evidence, the importance of skepticism, and the ongoing quest to unravel the mysteries of the universe.
So we've explored some really mind-blowing concepts from the magic of reality, the vastness of space, the intricacies of our own bodies. What I'm finding really fascinating is how Dawkins emphasizes the importance of critical thinking, especially in today's world, We're bombarded with information from all sides.
He's right. It's more important than ever to be able to sift through the noise, figure out what's actually true. Dawkins warns against falling prey to pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, all that kind of magical thinking.
He uses the example of people who claim to have been abducted by aliens. It's a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
But when you really examine the evidence, it just falls apart. It's a reminder that we should apply that same level of scrutiny to all claims, especially the extraordinary ones.
He explains how scientists use observation, experimentation, and logic to build a reliable understanding of the world. And he really stresses that science is a process, not a fixed set of beliefs. Our understanding of the universe is constantly evolving. As we gather more data,
It's that idea of scientific humility, right? Acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, that's what drives us to keep asking questions and exploring.
exactly. And that drive to explore is what makes the magic of reality such a compelling read. Dawkins shows us that the universe is full of wonder, and science is our most powerful tool for unlocking its secrets. He inspires us to embrace curiosity, skepticism, and the joy of discovery.
He really makes science feel like an adventure.
Yeah.
This deep dive has just scratched the surface of what's in the magic of reality. If you're intrigued by what we've discussed, I highly encourage you to pick up a copy of the book yourself. You can find a link in the show notes.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more explorations of fascinating books and ideas.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through the magic of reality. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep marveling at the wonders of the universe.